Hey, today I'm talking about the strangest combination of movies. I watched Charade, Jungle to Jungle, and Land of the Lost. It's been a weird couple of days. First up is Charade. This is a 1963 movie starring Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn, and it's basically like a big mystery thriller thing that's also a comedy and a little bit of a romance. The basic premise is that Audrey Hepburn wants to divorce her husband, but then something happens, and now there's a bunch of shady men trying to get some information from her, among other things. And yeah, it's really, really good. I was kind of surprised how much I liked it. It was solid. It was very funny. I was surprised how much I laughed. But then what really got me though were like, it's a mystery, so there's lots of twists and turns, and like, I was very surprised by them, but I never felt like I was ever like too far behind or too far ahead of the movie. Like it felt like it was great pacing and just like the mystery stuff just worked. Like I had theories and sometimes they paid out and sometimes they didn't. And just, I don't know, it's such a solid movie. I recommend the hell out of this. It's just so much fun and so delightful. Like you're gonna have a good time. And I was really surprised that the movie wasn't spoiled for me. This is a 60-year-old movie, and I just was still surprised by all the twists and turns. And it's not like it's a really obscure movie. It's Audrey frickin' Hepburn. She's, gorgeous, and just like, yeah, it's great. My only complaint about it is like the romance stuff, and that's kind of a widely talked about thing when you ever talk about this movie, is because Cary Grant is 25 years older than her, and like, it just... It feels so weird and creepy, and like he's not into it, which kind of made it funny, but like it still was just, I don't know. I think there's a different dynamic that could have gone between the two of them, and it would have been more interesting. But even with my distaste for that, it didn't ruin the experience of the movie. So again, recommend the hell out of it. It's so great, so fun, so interesting. You're gonna have a good time. Next up is Jungle to Jungle. This is a 1997 Disney movie starring Tim Allen. It also has Martin Short in it, and he was great. And yeah, the premise of this is that Tim Allen plays a New York business person, and he wants to divorce his wife, who he hasn't seen in like 15 years, so he can marry someone else. And she was off living in the jungle. And then the twist is that even though he didn't want kids, he has a kid that he didn't know about, and they're a teenager now. And so it's really just about his relationship with his son, who is, in a loincloth for most of the movie. And yeah, I remember when this came out, I liked it a lot. I was the target audience. I was 7 when this came out. And so I was like, okay, how does it still hold up? I know Tim Allen's not a great person, so it'll be interesting to see what he does here. And it was pretty good. I ended up putting it in the liked category. It was pretty funny. It was pretty heartwarming. I was a little afraid going into it that there were going to be lots of jokes about like kind of just making fun of like the native people that the son lived with for a long time, or like the jokes would just be about him being kind of more primitive. But really, most of the jokes were kind of more like fish out of water stuff, with like when Tim Allen went to go visit his son, but also with, it's more just like Tim Allen kind of being taken aback by the son doing stuff. I was afraid it was going to be kind of racist, but I didn't feel racist to me, so that was good. But yeah, it's fine. It's an alright movie. And lastly is Land of the Lost. This is a 2009 movie starring Will Ferrell, Danny McBride, and Anna Farrell. She was the chick from Pushing Daisies. She's the whole reason I watch this movie, because I love this show so much, and she's so great in it. She's just like adorable and the best. And I've always been kind of curious about it. I know it got like bad reviews and stuff, but I'm like, well, she's probably still fine in it and probably still adorable to some extent, because, she's adorable. So I went into it with like very low expectations, just kind of thinking it was going to be like a dumb comedy. And yeah, it's a really, really dumb comedy. To the point of like, I wish I would have turned it off, but I didn't. So the basic premise is that Will Ferrell is a scientist who's failed and ridiculed, but then Anna comes along and she's like, you can do it. And then they teleport to a side dimension and Danny McBride comes with them. He's just this weird, sexist, awful thing. And it's like all of the worst jokes that Will Ferrell's ever done. It's just like all the jokes that if any other movie, they'd be on the cutting room floor, but they just didn't have anything else. So they're just like, hey, let's just make a movie with all of the absolute worst jokes Will Ferrell's ever done. And yeah, it's a hot garbage. The only redeeming quality about this movie is that like there's these aliens, and they actually made the aliens with like a rubber suit, and they look campy and great and wonderful. Look very much so like the original series. So I loved that a ton. Speaking of the original series, if you're a fan of it, don't watch this movie because it's a movie designed for teenagers. If teenagers were just like extra kinds of dumb. I know some people like this movie, and I'm really putting it down. But it's just, it's just not good. It's just not good. Humor is subjective, and it does have an audience, but not a mass audience. So yeah, I regret watching this. This is very bad. Alrighty, that's it for today. So we had Charade, I put at the number 30 spot in the really liked category. And then Jungle to Jungle, I put in the liked spot. It's at number 8. And then bringing up the rear is Land of the Lost at number 12 out of 12 movies. It's in the didn't liked category. It's real bad. It's real bad. Please don't watch it.